Recorded Books and One Click Digital present The Originals, The Loss, by Julie Plec. Based on the Vampire Diaries. Narrated by Saskia Maarleveld. Prologue, 1766. Lily LaRue had promised herself that she wouldn't cry. Her mother would never have forgiven her for crying. Lily's job was to look strong and poised in her fitted black dress, to accept the community's condolences without seeming to need them. She was in charge of New Orleans witches now, or whatever was left of them. She had to lead them, not lean on them. They could certainly use some guidance. Lily's mother had done her best to hold the witches together after their hurricane had razed the city to its foundations more than 40 years ago. But the loss had been catastrophic, and the guilt of having caused so much destruction, the guilt was even more devastating. In the meantime, other players had stepped into the void of power left behind by the witches. The French had recently handed New Orleans over to the Spanish, who had chosen to wholly ignore their new territory. Instead, it was the vampires who had taken the reins. The Mikaelsons, the originals, 3 of the very first vampires in existence, had made their move at an ideal time. Elijah, Rebekah, and worst of all, Klaus, now ruled the city. The witches hated them with a passion, although Lily suspected that her mother nursed an odd soft spot for them. She always shut down any talk of retaliation by reminding them that the witches' own hands were responsible for their current misery. If they hadn't tried to seek reckless revenge against the werewolves for betraying their truce, they wouldn't be sequestered in the backwaters of the bayou. But Isabelle d'Aliencourt's blind love for the vampires meant that her funeral was a sorry shadow of what Lily thought her mother deserved. Isabelle had led her people out of the ruined city and kept their community together. She had counseled them against a destructive path of war, and taught them to focus on themselves and their craft, rather than on the walking abominations that sat on their former throne. Everyone stood, and Lily rose numbly with them. 6 witches lifted her mother's wooden casket on their shoulders, and she heard Marguerite sob as they carried it past. Lily rested a comforting hand on her daughter's thin shoulder and fought the burning behind her eyes. Her mother should have been enshrined in the heart of New Orleans.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?